Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're cracking open the real estate wealth engine, a really powerful system for not just growing your money, but for legally slashing your tax bill and building some serious long-term financial security.
So, here's how we're going to break it down. We'll start with the foundational principle of all wealth, and then we'll see why real estate is such a uniquely powerful asset. From there, we'll dive into a really common tax trap that trips up most investors, show you exactly how to get around it, and then reveal a method for scaling your portfolio. We'll wrap up with why holding these kinds of assets is so critical right now.
All right, let's get right into it with the foundation. The fundamental difference between just earning an income and building real, lasting wealth, it all boils down to one crucial shift. You have to move from earning to owning. When you actually analyze how the wealthiest people on the planet built their fortunes, a really clear pattern just jumps out at you. The vast majority, they're entrepreneurs and investors. The common thread here is ownership. But what's really telling, what's really shocking, is who isn't on this list. Look at that. 0% for traditional employees or W-2 earners who only rely on a salary. This just drives home a core principle. You don't just earn true wealth, you own it. Okay, so if ownership is the name of the game, the next obvious question is, what should you own? And this is where real estate steps into the spotlight, because it stands out as a premier asset class for some really powerful, interconnected reasons. What makes real estate so unique is that it combines 4 different wealth-building advantages all into one package. First, you've got leverage. That's using the bank's money to control a huge asset. Then you've got appreciation, because property values tend to go up over time. You also get cash flow from rental income. And finally, the big one, amazing tax benefits, including this crazy ability to claim a paper loss on an asset that's actually going up in value. I mean, no other asset class really pulls all 4 of these together so well. Now, that whole pillar of leverage means we have to completely rethink how we look at debt. It's all about understanding the difference between good debt and bad debt. It's actually pretty simple. Good debt, like a mortgage on a rental property, helps you buy an asset that grows or pays you. Bad debt, like a loan for a fancy car, gets you a depreciating thing that just costs you money. And the difference in the outcome? It's just staggering. I mean, look at this. Take 150 grand and buy a luxury car. In 5 years, you're lucky if it's worth 60,000. But take that same 150 grand as a down payment to buy a $750,000 rental property, with just average appreciation, that asset could be worth $900,000. You've used good debt to control a much, much larger asset that's actually growing. But, and this is a big but, for high-income earners, there's a huge roadblock. One of the best things about real estate, those tax benefits, is often locked away behind a rule that, frankly, most investors just don't get. This is the exact question that drives so many high-earning investors crazy. They do everything right, They buy a rental property, they learn all about depreciation, and then their accountant hits them with the bad news. Sorry, those valuable paper losses are stuck. You can't use them to lower the taxes on your main job. It's incredibly frustrating. So what's the deal? Well, the answer is something called the passive activity loss rules. The tax code was literally designed to stop people, especially high earners, from using real estate shelters to just completely wipe out their tax bill. And to do that, it created 2 totally different categories of activity. So here's the crucial part. Just picture 2 separate buckets. Your salary, your business profits, that all goes in the active bucket. The income, and more importantly, the losses from your long-term rentals, they go in the passive bucket. And by default, there's a thick wall between them. You could not take losses from the passive bucket and use them to lower the income in your active one. They're trapped. But here's the good news. There are advanced strategies, and they're totally legal, to build a bridge between those 2 buckets. If you have the right approach, you can actually reclassify your real estate activity and turn those paper losses into a ridiculously powerful active tax shield. The first tool in the toolbox is this engineering-based accounting strategy called cost segregation. Think of it like this. Instead of seeing a building as one giant thing that you write off slowly over almost 30 years, a study breaks it down into all its little pieces. Things with shorter lifespans, like the carpets, the appliances, the light fixtures, you can depreciate those way faster. This lets you pull huge tax deductions into the here and now. And the difference is just wild. On a building worth about $480,000, standard depreciation might get you a deduction of, say, $17,000 a year. But with a cost segregation study, you could accelerate components worth $120,000 or even more in the very first year. You're creating a massive paper loss right from the get-go. Okay, but that giant paper loss is still stuck in the passive bucket, right? So this next strategy is the magic key. This is what moves it over and makes it so valuable. The tax code actually has an exception that lets certain rental activities be treated as non-passive. Essentially, you're moving it into the active bucket. And this is the short-term rental strategy. So, to unlock this special treatment, your investment has to pass a few tests. First, the average guest stay has to be 7 days or less. Second, you have to materially participate. Now that sounds super technical, but for most people, it just means you spend at least 100 hours a year on the rental and that you spend more time on it than any other single person. If you can check those boxes, congratulations. You've just successfully moved your real estate losses from the passive bucket over to the active one, where they can go to work wiping out your primary income tax. So supercharging the tax benefits of one property is awesome. But how do you scale that up into a whole portfolio? Well, that's where we introduced a system for creating something called capital velocity, and it's known as the BRRRR method. This 5-step process is basically an engine designed to use your initial investment capital again and again and again. You buy an undervalued property, you rehab it to force the value up, you rent it out to get that cash flow going, then you refinance based on its new, higher value, and finally, you repeat the whole process with the cash you just pulled out. Now, the absolute magic of this entire system happens in that refinance step. The bank isn't lending you money based on what you originally paid for the house. No, they're lending based on the new, much higher appraised value, the after repair value. You are literally borrowing against the equity that you manufactured with your own work. And when you nail a BRRRR cycle, you can pull your entire initial investment back out, and sometimes even more. Think about that. You're left with a cash-flowing asset with little to none of your own money still in it. And your capital is now free and ready to be deployed on the very next deal. All right, let's zoom back out for the big finish and see why owning hard assets like real estate is just so critical, especially in today's world. This is about more than just getting ahead. It's about making sure you don't fall behind. You see, inflation acts like a silent tax on your savings. It's a thief. The cash you have sitting in the bank today is guaranteed to buy less tomorrow. And over time, this erosion of your purchasing power can be absolutely devastating if your money isn't parked in the right places. And this is why owning inflation-resistant assets is almost like taking out an insurance policy on your money. Hard assets with a limited supply and real-world demand, like real estate, they tend to rise in value right along with inflation. As the cost of everything else goes up, so do rents and property values. And what does that mean? It means your purchasing power is protected. So this really brings us to the crucial question you need to be asking yourself about your own money. The strategies we've just gone over, they're not just about getting rich. They're about building a resilient financial machine. It's about putting your capital to work in a system that's designed for growth, for cash flow, for tax efficiency, and for protection all at the same time. And that right there is the very core of strategic wealth building.